Welcome to Mrs. Merkel's Trig class. Let's start with a prayer. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen. In nomine Patri et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Okay, day 2 of parabolas. First, you are going to need your notes from the other day. So if you don't have them, stop, grab them. These are going to be really important. So put those off to the side. All right, so let's take a look and see what it says. It says, find the vertex, focus, directrix, and axis of symmetry of each parabola, and then graph the parabola. Now we're just going to do a sketch of the parabola, and that's fine. All right, so let's take a look at, I am on page 416, and we're going to show you how to do this. Let's take a look at number 18. It's kind of funny because sometimes when there's less information, it's actually a little harder, so that's why I really wanted to go over 18. Okay, number 18 says 6x plus y squared is equal to 0. 6x plus y squared is equal to 0. Okay, so first of all, let's take a look and see what we have here. We want to have, now the y squared term, what's important is that the y squared term is positive, okay? So we're looking at this sheet here, all right? So we have the squared term on the right-hand side and the other term on the left-hand side. So for the moment, we're just going to say y squared is equal to negative 6x. Because I subtracted 6x from both sides. So y squared is equal to negative 6x, okay? Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to flip this around. So we're going to say negative 6x is equal to y squared. You could have done that here, but I don't know, I just thought it was easier. All right, so negative 6x is equal to y squared. Now, the problem is that the coefficient in front of x has to be 1. So what we're going to do is, if there is a coefficient in front of x, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. So we're going to multiply both sides by negative 1 over 6. And we're going to multiply this side by negative 1 over 6. So remember, keep in mind, this is our goal right here, okay? So this is multiplied, okay? So this is x, which is what was our goal, is equal to negative 1, 6. We want to have this out front times y squared. All right, so you've got your squared term on the right, your other variable on the other side, and it looks like this form. Not quite, because there's really not a lot of information in this, but it is all here. Because what is h? H is 0. So your vertex is 0, and what is k? There's nothing added to y, so your vertex is 0, 0. Okay, so now let's take a look. So it said, what's the next thing that we have to find? The focus. In order to find the focus, we have to find out what C is. So remember, A is equal to 1 over 4C. So this right here is A. So we're going to say negative 1 over 6 is equal to 1 over 4C. We'll cross multiply that, so that you have 4c is equal to negative 6, divide by 4, and you get c is equal to, now it says it's negative 2/3, but remember, it's just a distance, but the negative is important for the a because of the way that the parabola turns, all right? I'm going to have to get another sheet of paper for this. This is where the sketch comes in and the thinking part comes in. Okay, so let's take a look. We're going to make ourselves a sketch over here. All right, we know our vertex is 0, 0. All right, so now here's the thing. We have, this is our equation, x is equal to negative 1 over 6y squared. So you're looking at an x is equal to a parabola, which either has to open right or it opens left. So since a is negative, our parabola opens left. So we know it's going to, just remember, this is a sketch, that's okay. So our parabola is going to open left like that. All right, so now the next thing first thing we find is the vertex. The next thing we're going to find is the focus. So the focus, remember, the distance C is the distance between the vertex and the focus. You can see it right here, okay? So if this is 0, the focus has to be over here at 2/3. So your focus is going to be negative 2/3, 0. So that's your focus, okay? And then your directrix is going to be over here like this. We'll do that in a different color. That's your directrix right there. Okay, so your directrix, now this is, what is the equation for this line? All right, you're at x is equal to 2/3, and x is always equal to 2/3. So the equation for your directrix is x is equal to 2/3. Okay. I made a mistake. I knew this. All right. 6/4 reduces to 3/2. Okay, so C is equal to 3/2. All right, so your focus, let's just cross this out all together. So your focus is negative 3/2, 0. And then your directrix is going to be x is equal to positive 3/2. Okay, which is 1.5, but all right, so then, and the last question is your axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry is what goes through the center of your parabola. So your axis of symmetry is y is equal to 0. And that covers everything on this. And that's the first one, all right? This sketch is enough for the graph. I just want to sketch, find the vertex, the focus, what x is, and what the directrix, and the axis of symmetry, okay? All right, so let's take a look here now at we'll save this actually. We can do our next sketch on that. This was for number 18. Now let's take a look. Let's take a look at number 20. I want to show you a bunch of examples of this. Okay, let's take a look. Number 20 says, x squared is equal to y plus 2x. The first thing you want to do is you want to get all your, look for the squared term and get, it's x in this case, so get x together on one side. So it's x squared minus 2x is equal to y, okay? Now, what we have to do is we have to complete the square. Okay, so this is going to be x squared minus 2x plus something is equal to y plus something. So half of 2 is 1, and 1 squared is 1, so we're going to put a 1 there. So then we have x minus 1 squared is equal to y plus 1. All right, but we want to pull this sheet out over here because take a look. So we're going to have this type of parabola that either opens up or down. For the sake, you don't have to move this over, but I liked to. Y plus 1 is equal to x minus 1 squared. All right, so what do we have here? First of all, we know that our vertex is the point x is equal to 1. Remember, it's opposite, and y is equal to negative 1. Okay, we're looking for our focus, which is where our sketch comes in. Let's just put that down here. I think this would be fine. Let's take a look. So here's our sketch here. Okay. Now it says our vertex is x is equal to 1, y is equal to negative 1, which is right there. That's our vertex. All right. Now you've got a y equals parabola, so it's either going to open up or open down. Because it's positive, it opens up. So your parabola is going to look something like that. Okay, so now we need to find the focus. Oh, first of all, we need to find what C is. So remember that A is equal to 1/4C. What is A in this case? A is 1. 1 is equal to 1/4C. We're going to cross multiply, and you get 4C is equal to 1. So C is equal to 1/4, okay? All right, so now let's take a look here. So if our vertex is here, all right, our focus is gonna be right here, but we have to go up 1/4, okay? So let's take a look here. So this is -1. So to go up 1/4, it's going to be -1 plus 1/4. So -4/4 plus 1/4 is going to be -3/4. Okay, so your y coordinate is -3/4 and your x coordinate stays the same. So your focus is right here. Got to be kind of small there. All right, so now our directrix has to go here. Okay, and your directrix is y is equal to, so if this is -1 and c is 1/4, this is -1 1/4, and 4 times 1 is 4 plus 1 is 5, so that's -5/4. All right, just double checking here. And what is our axis of symmetry? Our axis of symmetry goes right through here. The axis of symmetry is x is equal to 1. Okay, you guys are going to get really fantastic at completing the square by the time you are done with this. All right, let's take a look at, trying to decide how many examples I want to do for you guys. Oh, let's do number 22, okay? Because the more I do, the less you have an opportunity to try. But let's take a look at 22. Number 22 says y squared plus 6y plus 8x minus 7 is equal to 0. Okay, step 1, we want to collect the y squared term together. All of the y's, y squared plus 6y is equal to, so we're going to bring the 8x over to the other side, -8x plus 7. All right, now we're getting ready to complete the square, so you're going to say y squared plus 6y plus something is equal to -8x plus 7 plus something. Half of 6 is 3, 3 squared is 9. Okay, so this is going to be y plus 3 squared is equal to -8x plus 16. Okay, now remember, we want to get x has to have a coefficient of 1. So this is going to be y plus 3 squared is equal to, if we take a -8 out, -8 times x will give you -8x minus 8 times 2 is 16. So double check this, make sure you did it right. Negative times a positive is a negative, that's correct. And a negative times a negative is a positive, that's correct. So we did that correct. Okay, let's get it in the right order. Okay, but first of all, notice here that there's no coefficient in front of this term. So we have to get rid of this. So how do we get rid of a -8? We multiply by the reciprocal, which is what we did on the other problem. So we're going to multiply this side by -1/8. And we're going to multiply this side by -1/8. Notice how it starts taking shape. Okay, so let's take a look here. So I have -1/8 y plus 3 squared is equal to x minus 2. All right, now I'm going to rewrite this just because I like to. X minus 2 is equal to -1/8 y plus 3 squared. Okay, so we know that our vertex is equal to +2, -3. Okay, we just got that from the opposite of that and opposite of that. Remember, this is x and that's y, or this is h and k. All right, now we have to find out what c is. So we have a is equal to 1/4c. Our a is -1/8 is equal to 1/4c. We're going to cross multiply. If you make a mistake, you'll get like 1/32, and that's not right. So let's see here. We get 4c is equal to 8. Divide both sides by 4, and you get c is equal to 2. All right. Now back to our sketching. I knew this paper would come in handy. Okay, the sketch will help you organize everything. So let's take a look here. Okay. Our vertex is 2, -3. X is 2, and y is -3. That's where our vertex is, all right? This parabola, the formula for parabola is the x parabola, so it's either going to open left or right, all right? And because this is negative, 1/8, it's going to open to the left. So we'll just do a sketch of our parabola here. Like that. Okay, we need to find our focus. We know our focus is going to be in here. All right. If our vertex is at 2 and we have to go over 2 places, our focus is actually going to be right here. All right. So our focus is the point x is equal to 0, y is equal to -3. All right. How about our directrix? So since c is equal to 2, we have to go over 2. So we're already at 2, so that means we're going to go over 2 more. All right. So our directrix is here where x is equal to 4. Okay. And our axis of symmetry goes right through here. So our axis of symmetry is y is equal to -3 because it goes through there. Okay. All right, fantastic. So basically, completing the square and drawing the sketch are the 2 big things that we want to do. Feel free to go ahead and start your homework if you want. I'm just going to go over one more example because it'll make me feel better to give you a lot of examples to look at if you need them, because some of you are going to pick this up real quick and others of you are going to be a little bit more challenging. So let's take a look at number 24. 24 says x squared minus 6x plus 10y minus 1 is equal to 0. Step 1, we're going to collect the squared term. X squared minus 6x is equal to -10y plus 1. I just moved everything over to the other side. We have to complete the square. X squared minus 6x plus something is equal to -10y plus 1 plus something. What is that something? Half of 6 is 3, and 3 squared is 9. There we go. So what do we have here? We have x minus 3 squared is equal to -10y plus 10. We want the coefficient in front of y to be 1. So x minus 3 squared, we're going to take a -10 out front, and that's going to be y minus 1. Take a quick check. -10 times y gives you -10y. Negative times a negative gives you a positive. We did that right. We have to move this to the other side. How do we move that to the other side? We multiply by the reciprocal. -1/10. -1/10. Almost there. These get methodical, and they're kind of fun when you get the right answer. So we have -1/10 times x minus 3 squared is equal to y minus 1 is equal to -1/10 x. I just rewrote that because it makes me feel better. Okay, which parabola are we looking for? We're looking for this parabola here, so we know that it either opens up or it opens down. Where's our vertex? Our vertex is, let's see, x is equal to 3, y is equal to 1. So we'll draw our sketch right here. X is equal to 3 and y is equal to 1. Right there, there's our vertex. So it's a y parabola, so it's either going to open up or down. Looks like it's going to open down because this is negative. So we'll just draw our sketch here, like that. All right, where's our focus? Oh, we forgot to, I always forget to find out what C is. Let's take a look. C is, so if we have, let's see here, 1 over A is equal to 1 over 4C. So A is -1/10. -1/10 is equal to 1 over 4C. Cross multiply that. You get 4C is equal to 10. Divide both sides by 4. C is equal to 5 over 2. Okay, so 5 over 2 is about 2.5. So take a look. If our vertex is here, our focus is going to have to be here. So the vertex is at the point, this is 1. So we have to go 1 minus 5 over 2. So let's see here, that would be 2 over 2 minus 5 over 2 is equal to -3 over 2. So your focus is x is equal to 3, y is equal to negative 3 over 2. Directrix has to be over here. So this is our focus here, negative 3 over 2. So we're going to put our directrix up here. It's just a sketch. So your directrix, you're going to start at y is equal to 1. 1 plus 5 over 2. 5 over 5 plus 5. Oh, no. 2 over 2 plus 5 over 2 is going to give you 7 over 2. So this is y is equal to 7 over 2. And your axis of symmetry is the line that goes like this. And your axis of symmetry is x is equal to 3. All right, that about covers it. I think you just need to practice. So make sure you have your notes right here so you can do whether it's a up or down parabola, right or left parabola. Collect your squared terms on one side so that you can complete the square. And then just work on getting it in this formula, and don't forget about that whole reciprocal thing, because when I first did it, I forgot about the reciprocal. So we don't want to forget about that. What is your homework? The odd ones, of course, because it's so satisfying when you get the right answer. So it is page 416, 17 to 25 odd. If you have any questions or want a solution, just holler and I will send it out to you. I already worked them out. Remember, if there's nothing added or subtracted, it's just 0. Like that first one, remember, it didn't have a lot of information. And I guess that's it. All right, you guys have a great day. God bless you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.